Hi, I'm Scott Anderson. That lady you just saw is my purpose-driven wife, Linda. Music, the drums, well, they're a big part of my life. My dad was a jazz drummer, and I picked up the sticks at a very young age. He was a big influence on my music, and my mom was always there encouraging me. We lived in Surrey, BC at the time. The 70s in BC was a great place to be for music. I was fortunate enough to play for several bands and jazz groups. By the time I was 15, playing the drums became my life. I played in some local groups and then got a job with some show bands touring Asia, Europe, Africa, and North America. I remember how nervous and how much stage fright I had as a teenager playing the drums alongside some great players. It made me feel good to be accepted, and I quickly fit into their lifestyle. I got a multi-year contract in Vegas playing for an Elvis impersonator act. If you looked from a distance, it seemed like life couldn't be better for a 21-year-old guy. Hey, Elvis is still big in Vegas. I lived the lifestyle, all of it. It was my life and I thought I was in control. As loud as my drums and just as hollow on the inside. I remember thinking, how could I have such pain in my heart and feel so empty when it seemed like I had life by the tail? The more I consumed, the more I needed. There had to be answers to all the questions I had. In search of answers, I took a Bible study course, which provided some answers, yet raised other questions. It was hard to keep living the lifestyle I was and reconcile that with what I was reading in the Bible. When I was back touring alone in my hotel room, I would often pick up that old Gideon's Bible. Every time I did, something would jump off the page at me. I would read and know in my heart that I needed Jesus. In '78, I was playing Vegas. I was like a puppet on a string to my addictions. I felt out of control, powerless, helpless. I had some despair and some really dark thoughts. I could finally see the wrecked lives all around me and what the booze was doing to people. It was like the drink was taking me, I wasn't taking the drink. But I knew I was unable to change the trajectory of my life under my own power. My thoughts kept turning back to the Lord. Could I trust Him to help me get free? I got hold of Billy Graham's book, How to Be Born Again. One day I got up the nerve and talked to God about who I was, what I was feeling, and I asked the Lord for His help. I even got baptized in a swimming pool in Las Vegas. That was the beginning of my relationship with Jesus. It was far from a happy ever after time, but I was slowly becoming more dependent. Continued to tour, and one day in '89 I ended up in Edmonton where I met Linda. She became a friend whom I could talk to, and the woman I came to love deeply. Linda was there for me. Sometimes I really don't know why. We were married in '91, and this was a big change in my life and my situation. It took a long time to come in for a landing, to work out my dependencies. The Bible was a refuge. It drew me closer to Jesus during the struggles and the victories. One day in January '97, I was reading my Bible, and Psalm 40 just jumped off the page at me. I waited patiently for the Lord, and He inclined unto me and heard my plea. He brought me up from a desolate pit, out of the quicksand, and He put my foot on a solid rock and established my path. He put a new song in my mouth, a song of praise to our God. I prayed sincerely. Shortly after, I got a call from a veteran piano player to do a house gig at Jasper Park Lodge. Everybody who knew my past life told him he was out of his mind to call me, but we had worked together before, and he told them, I want Scotty. By the time I got to the gig, Linda and I had been to Beulah 5 or 6 times, and she was sending me cassettes of the Beulah messages. Pastor Keith was speaking on the 12 steps, a Christian perspective. After the gig, Linda came up to Jasper. We were going to be camping for the weekend. Nate and I were waiting in a long lineup for a campsite. Well, 3 million people pass through Jasper every year, and Pastor Keith just happened to walk by. I can't remember exactly what I said, but I was taken aback by the coincidence. I'd just been listening to him for about 3 nights in a row. Back in Edmonton, I got introduced to Randy Weber, the most gracious worship leader, and started playing some drums here at Beulah. I let go of the touring lifestyle. Linda and I are doing great here. The music, it's all his. I love Jesus, and I really love to play the drums, man.